Hello, and if you are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Canting Club. This week we have for you an Australian Riesling, the unassumingly titled BlancPlonk, made by cult winemaker Gary Mills at Jamshed Wines. Now the label for this says that it's a barrel fermented Victorian Riesling, but also adds a health warning that Chardonnay was also used in production and traces may still remain. Now you're really not supposed to blend Riesling, especially not with Chardonnay, but I'm afraid that's what's been done here. Previous vintages of this wine have included Gewürztraminer, Sauvignon Blanc and indeed Chardonnay. This year, 2014, most of the Riesling has come from the historic Garden Gully vineyard, where the vines are over a century old. This vineyard is known for its high-intensity, high-acid Riesling and is usually used to produce a much more expensive single vineyard wine. But this year, it's been blended with fruit from the Upper Goulburn. It's also been made in an unconventional fashion. Hand-picked and whole bunch pressed, the free-run juice is then run straight into old oak barrels without any time to settle. This is what they call on full solid, so there's bits of skin and pip and what have you in there. It's then fermented entirely on the naturally occurring yeasts that are on the grape skins. No cultivated yeasts are added to this. And afterwards, it's aged on its own lees on the yeast cells in those barrels for 8 months before being bottled without fining or filtration. But I can't see any gunk in this. I hope there isn't any in yours either. You'll notice it's quite a deep yellow colour, which is unusual for young Riesling, which is not often very pale. And I think this is probably a consequence of the extended skin contact it's had by that contact with the skins that are on full solids in the barrels. If you give it a swirl and a sniff, oh, that's a beautiful nose. You can tell that's Riesling. It's got a really characteristic Australian Riesling nose of fresh limes, but there's also pungent sweet spices in there of ginger and kaffir lime and even ginseng. And tropical fruits. You can tell this is a ripe example. Now, the acidity is really high here, mouth-watering. And the wine is just slightly off-dry, which helps to balance that fearsome acidity. If this were fermented all the way to dryness, it would probably be too sharp and also probably too strong because it's 13% as it is. Lovely flavours of lime and tropical fruit, and that's unsupported by a subtle toastiness, which may be from the lees aging or it may be from those barrels. Also, as you go into the finish, so that tropical fruit comes through again, and there's even a tinge of banana joining the flavours, which is unusual for a Riesling, and maybe, again, the result of barrel aging. It's something you'd normally find on a Chardonnay. And you also notice it's a slightly drying tinge to the finish, and I think there may be a tinge of tannin in this, again a result of that extended skin contact. But this is an absolutely beautiful wine. I love this. I've been dying to do an Australian Riesling for you, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as me. Cheers.